Guys, welcome to 180 Drums. We have Josh Manuel in the house.
Stoked.
And today, dude, you're teaching us something that you said you use this everywhere.
Yeah.
This kind of like fills in a lot of your grooves, a little bit of the glue to some of your playing.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Awesome. This is lesson number 1 with this guy, and I'm only telling you guys that because he's killing it. He comes in right away. He's got all the energy in the world. So, dude, why don't you slowly break down what you're teaching us today?
Cool. Yeah, it's you're basically just trading doubles between your left hand and your right foot.
Right.
Which is super useful for like any gospel groove stuff.
It's also super not easy, right? It's gonna take a minute.
It does take a minute because like obviously the faster you get with your foot, the more you're gonna have to use the slide technique.
100%.
Which for me it was never something I like intentionally focused on practicing. Like growing up playing, it just eventually happened. So
cool.
This exercise will eventually you'll get there with it.
Well, what's cool too, man, is we have I feel like we've got a good amount of foot lessons that we're going to go through today as well.
Sweet.
Tons of stuff that we're going to be covering with you with the foot, so we'll get to all the slide technique stuff. In the meantime, why don't you just really simply break down exactly what we're learning?
Cool. So, literally just trading doubles between right foot and left hand.
Awesome.
And obviously, if you're a right-handed player, your left hand...
You can flip it. You can figure it out.
But yeah, usually, your less dominant hand is like a little laggy. So this exercise definitely helps with that. And also focuses on dynamics. Yes. So between like, your doubles on your kick and your left hand, your first stroke of your left hand, you want it to be, maybe 3 inches, 4 inches kind of thing. Cool. And then the second stroke, you want it to be a nice rim shot. Because that's something I do a lot. It just keeps up the flavor, I guess. But
100%, yeah.
But obviously, as you keep going and as you get faster with it, you're not going to be able to do it every time. So the faster it gets, the more, you're just kind of basically playing ghost notes.
Cool. Very cool. Do you want to show us this?
Sure, man. So all it is...
Okay, now to anybody who's already, there's maybe somebody who doesn't pick that up right away, who didn't grab that.
Cool.
We've got right, left, kick, and then that right hand lands again with the bass drum.
Exactly.
Do you want to play it without the bass drum, just so they can hear the hands?
How simple it is? Okay.
Perfect.
So easy enough.
Yeah, easy enough, but it takes a second. I think the hardest part is then once you have the bass drum, it's the bass drum that lands with that right hand.
Exactly, and there's obviously a reason you're not going. You're not following because that would make you want your right hand to be independent, obviously.
Totally.
So doing that and forcing yourself to go helps you do that and helps you break away from.
100%. Okay, do you want to play that again? And just slow the tempo down a little bit.
Cool.
So, boom, boom, ta, ta, boom, boom, ta, ta.
Sweet.
That tempo? Awesome. Perfect. Okay, very cool. So we'll cover that in the practice video. That's awesome.
Sweet.
Now, would you ever practice it where you're not accenting every other left hand?
Yeah, and that's as it gets quicker.
Cool.
Because obviously, once you apply it to a groove, because you're not just going to sit there and go, forever. So obviously you want to apply it, and as it gets quicker, you can put accents wherever you want.
Yes.
And I think once you actually start applying it into like a real groove, obviously you're not going to accent that every time.
100%. Do you ever play it where the left hand accent lands on the first note?
I don't, but I mean, sure.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I'm not gonna put you on the spot and make you. Yeah. You're like, Jake.
Yeah, I was like,
don't do that to me,
no.
dude.
Yeah, dude. That would be. The reason I do it that way is because I do a lot of stuff. Like if I'm grooving, just just kind of like.
Sick.
So that's just something I do a lot. So that exercise is great for, forcing your left hand to use those dynamics and be aware of it. Because like I said, once you get faster with it, you're not going to be doing the same thing.
For sure.
But you want it in your corner, you want to be able to obviously pull it out if you need it.
Yeah, that's a great start for this. Now, do you want to maybe just show what that idea sounds like, even just moving it around the kit a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. So just singles and doubles, mainly.
Yeah, very cool.
Some tom stuff.
Everyone else is like, Josh, I play singles and doubles, and they do not sound like that. So we're going to get into covering all this stuff. But I think a great starting place is just even understanding that right, left, boom, boom.
Got you.
Boom, boom. And then we'll begin to move that around and break that down more. But it's really cool, man, because I think the reason it's so important, guys, is because this pattern, Josh is using it everywhere. So even though you just shredded that, and it was probably hard for people to identify where in that little...
Yeah.
It's in there. It's living in there. So we're going to unravel that more and more. Now, just before we wrap this lesson up, because I think this is a really great starting place to work on this idea, do you apply that idea on the hi-hat as well? Like, do you ever just... could you demonstrate that for us?
Yeah, because, like, so I got this guy, little ox hat.
Ah.
It's a lot of fun. But, yeah, so basically, you know, you got the... And there's some stuff where, you know...
Slow it down for us. Show us what it would sound like if you keep the backbeat, but you play just that same pattern that we're learning, really slow between the hats.
So, cool. So,
yeah. Now play us a groove and then throw that in there. Let's hear what that sounds like.
Okay.
What a jerk, right, guys? Sounds so awesome. All right, man. That's super cool. Why don't you play us out on this one?
Cool. Sweet.